All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 254. All right, so it's time for the daily update. And once again, we're still kind of in the holiday season, so there's no updates on the anticipated appeal to the landlord's loss on the enter-teens. You can buy some new sponsored block types in the Shopify Store. I made a sale yesterday. I sold some of the unpackaged silicon dies. And today, I also continued to work on the next video. And as usual, we will continue on with work on the terminal block mining simulation game. Let's test this to see where we are. So yesterday, I started implementing a bit more of the cursor movement stuff for the input, and there's just a few other cases to work on with that. So I guess maybe I'll make that case work. We're close to the dreaded day 255. Oh yeah. Pretty soon you won't be able to represent. It'll be the very last day before 256. It's a very special day. So the next thing is I guess basically to implement kind of like a scrolling feature. So as I type, I guess it'll be this. This variable here. Last day before overflow. I guess technically I'm already overflowing because YouTube doesn't print out the full name, or I guess maybe Windows overlapping it today. They updated the UI so it wasn't displaying the whole title. Let me go check the open and move that a bit. Usually it would at least display the word day. Yep, still doesn't display it. It used to, but YouTube updated the UI. Let's make sure that didn't break anything. D. Merville. Hello, Robert. Long time no talk. How's it going? Still goes. That's good. The world is becoming more unstable, so hopefully everyone out there is keeping it together. Nobody's getting laid off. I think I saw a headline that the government is printing some money again. So maybe we're going to go through another positive economic cycle. That'd be nice. It'd be nice if we could just not have uncertainty for a while. Have some economic growth. right, let's see what that does. Long time looker here. Can't believe you've been through so much. And we are to still not understand class solidarity. Good luck. Not surprised. Your neighbors got pissed at you. Don't get me wrong. Still wishing you the best. Why would they get pissed? Alright, now this should, in theory, keep things in. Oh, I bet it's typing, but it's not. I think I got an off by one there. Interesting. So I guess I need another boundary for when the cursor comes back the other way. got an off by one error somewhere. There it is again. How was that able to become a -1? Hi Robert, how's it going? It's going pretty good. Today is another day of grinding away at the terminal block mining game. Got some work done on the next video today. How are you doing? All right, thanks for asking. Is YouTube a primary source of income now, or do you have a regular 9-to-5 job? YouTube has been the primary thing that for the last year that produces income. But it's been pretty erratic. It's difficult to figure out the trend of the revenue. It's been very up and down. Historically, Christmas was like an up season, but December revenue was quite low. All right, then it's fixed. And it should also work with multi-column characters. Seems like your more personal videos more successful, the ones oriented towards business. Yeah, I think there's a few things going on there. One is YouTube tries to figure out what your channel is about, so producing more of the same thing usually gets better results. And I don't have as many videos about business, so those didn't do as well. But I wanted to make more of them because that's another topic I'd like to talk more about. I'd be interested to reach more of an audience of people that are interested in the intersection of entrepreneurship and technology. But it's a catch-22 problem. Then again, I thought that the like deep dive on the whole rent eviction situation, that was that was one of the more personal ones. That one was a much more of a flop than I thought it would be. A lot of people asked me about that, and I assume the other one, the one last year, that one got 1.2 million views, but this one is sitting at like 12,000 or something. So it's like what is that? Yeah, 1%. 1% as many views. So the distribution of views is very difficult to predict, and it's not intrinsically related to the video too, because most of my revenue actually comes from the top video of all time is how to make a CPU video. And even when I make new videos, the new videos don't get views. If I release a new video, the how to make a CPU video magically just starts getting more views. So the cause and effect is the more I learn about YouTube and the algorithm, the more confused I am about like what exactly is going on. AI a hot topic right now. If you have any thoughts about that, yeah, people ask me about it every single stream. It's on my to-do list. I will do a video on it. Probably after I get the next one out, I will probably do a deep dive on some of the AI stuff. But then again, there's also there's a million people. That's okay. There's a million people doing stuff talking about AI. So, I don't think I really will add. I'm not an AI expert, so I'm not likely to add that much to the discussion. And I could do maybe one video content, but just kind of boxing into. I don't think I'd have enough relevant content to just to do like a bunch of videos, a series on it. There's a lot of people that are like, as soon as some fad comes out, they'll switch their content to try and capitalize on that. But then, like, because there's no real reason to watch their specific channel, it ends up, they pump out a few videos on it just because it's popular, but then, it doesn't really go anywhere for them. And then you kind of just look like a fool. You could like make a couple small videos that don't get views, and then you're on to the next topic. People dunking on honey browser extension again. Oh, again? I thought that was old news. issue is that there aren't really many entrepreneurs. A very limited market. How to become a broke loser video made viral. Since a lot of people are depressed with lives. Yeah, I think it was kind of at the right moment too. There's it also seems like there's kind of like, I don't know, there's like a whole, like a vibe to the media cycle, and if your thing fits with that vibe in the media cycle, because I noticed around that time there was also, well, I don't know, maybe I influenced some people as well, but there's a lot of people kind of coming out with similar types of videos. So probably just because there's a lot of people with the same issues at that time. Want to connect with someone who feels a similar way? Yeah, there's I mean, I definitely have started seeing a lot more videos of other people posting of just, I mean, it's like an intrinsic property of the economy now. Like mathematically, the system is not working. And I watch some real estate channels, and they're saying a lot. There's like a record. there's like record numbers of defaults and stuff. Lots of people going bankrupt. Lots of people losing homes and stuff. Interest rates went up a lot, so there's like even people that didn't miss payments on their house, but because they have a 5-year mortgage, the mortgage is coming up for renewal, and then they have to get reevaluated. So but they're being reevaluated for like a higher rate. And so some people are not, they never missed a payment, but now they can't refinance. So it's rough. Delinquencies going up. Well, actually, we were starting to. I think we're actually starting to go into a recession right at the start of COVID. There was like bankruptcies that were going up, and then as soon as COVID happened, like you might not be obvious, but bankruptcies basically went to zero because the whole system locked up. Like you couldn't even like sue people. You couldn't even legally. You couldn't go to a court and file for bankruptcy because all the courts were closed because of the virus. Everything slowed down, and then everyone got financing. So that like we were on track to have a recession in 2019. All of that, the businesses that were going to go bankrupt then didn't go bankrupt, and instead they got financing and free money from the government, and those are starting to go bankrupt now. And we're starting to see this like large increase in the number of defaults and bankruptcies. Any talk of Venezuela news in chat tonight? You're the first to mention it, but that definitely is that's another reminder that like the world that we live in today is different than the past. Things are changing rapidly. Hopefully we get some positive changes soon. Okay. Maybe I can make a delete key work now. Absolutely insane times. Yeah, it's the whole like the motivation and the plan with Venezuela is still not like super obvious. I mean, there's like cynical takes like they want to get the oil and stuff, but it kind of seems like there's some bigger geopolitical stuff going on that we're not aware of. All the backroom conversations and stuff. Live in a third world country in Europe, 90% of money is in real estate, since people are afraid to invest in other things. Yeah, that's unfortunate because putting all your money in real estate is like unless the real estate does something like fun at some point in your economy, you have to produce things. But if we just like speculate on real estate, if that's the entire economy, then who's going to make stuff? Who's going to grow food? I mean, the way we talk about our economy is so insane now. We keep talking about there's going to be no jobs. We're going to all going to have basic income and stuff like that. But then on the other hand, the efficiency of doing anything seems to be going down. It's like food's more expensive. In order to live, you gotta put in more hours. You gotta work harder, longer. Shouldn't it be the opposite? Shouldn't we all just have robots getting all our food and building our houses? Then we can just play video games. Just play Minecraft. Kind of hard to even conceptualize the level of current geopolitical insanity. Yeah, I try to keep up with it, but there's too much going on. All right, I think that's delete character. A lot of young people here are moving out of Germany, EU countries, since the pay there is simply much higher. Moving out to Germany, EU countries, since pay there is much higher. Yeah, it's I've heard some positive things about Germany, but I've also heard negative things about Germany, because Germany built up a lot of their economy. Like a very, very, very big part of their economic growth was based on dependence on cheap Russian natural gas. But then after the whole pipeline thing blew up and the war and Russian escalations, that ability to depend on that cheap gas went away, and also they kind of failed to innovate a little bit in their automotive sector, and China's been kind of eating their lunch. So I've heard things like they're likely to struggle in the future, but I don't know, maybe they'll go back to a war economy. Whether that's financially a good idea, I don't know. Even though tens of thousands of people leave every year, the price of housing just keeps skyrocketing. Yeah, I mean, there's another way to think about that too. You could say, like, if you want to talk about like the value of a thing, the value of housing actually hasn't really increased very much, because the amount of things you can do with a house, the amount of benefits it can bring to your life, has not changed. But what has happened is the value of money has crashed. It just keeps going down. So whenever you see the price of a house going up, you can also think about that in terms of the value of money going down. Because apparently the value of a house denominated in gold bars, like in I think out in Vancouver, I saw a chart, like a real estate analyst person did, and they kept, we talk about housing going up, and them having some of the most expensive housing in the world, but the value of their housing in terms of gold has actually gone down a little bit. And I guess you'd have to Gold went up quite a bit recently too, so that even stresses the point more. It's hard to know. It's hard to know what to do with your money because like historically you could kind of make logical arguments about like the supply and demand and analyze the economy and stuff, but if you were to come to me and say you could make like two opposite claims like that, you could say assets in the stock market are going to go up a lot, or you could say they're going to go down a lot, like they're going to go up 50% or down 50%, and I could believe either statement. They would go up if we have like a crisis and the government prints money like crazy, because that's of course what they always do. That's what happens. But if they ever learn their lesson, or if the system starts to break down for real, and then the printing money doesn't help, like if there's a bond market crisis where they print money and then hedge funds and stuff like that refuse to buy the bonds, then everything will go down. And it's not clear what is the right move. Rich people buy up all the assets, pricing out everyone else. That's why stocks are up too. Yeah, it's also the government interfering in the market too. Has a lot to do with the situation. Okay, delete. Okay, I guess that's not a delete character. F. Okay, that's backspace. That's the opposite of what I thought. Oh man. Yeah, what do you think about RAM prices going up in consumer PC markets? Is it over? I don't know. I think I saw some video that explained some part of it. It's just like something to do with the supply chain, where there's competition for the fabs that are going toward like GPU production or something for the AI boom. But I don't know. I actually haven't tried to buy RAM recently, but it's kind of strange that it targets RAM specifically, because I guess there's a lot of other. I guess I would kind of expect it to also affect CPU prices, but I don't know a lot about the actual breakdown of like the manufacturing capacity and stuff like that. It also seems like one of those things where a lot of those markets are like, there might be something else going on, and then there's something, there's an explanation distributed in the public that is different from the actual reality. Like there's some kind of, I don't know, the people that make the RAM got together and colluded, and they're like, hey, let's just start this rumor, and then we'll just charge 4 times prices for no reason, and then we'll make a bunch of money. Could be something like that. So I'm really confused because on my keyboard, when I press backspace, I guess I'm technically getting this, which is a delete character. Not really rumor. Micron announced they are no longer making RAM chips for consumers. Well, I guess that's a very strong stance to take, to say they're no longer making them. They weren't profitable to make them and sell them in inflated AI companies, or inflated prices to AI companies. Well, maybe it's that way for now, but will it always be that way? Okay, delete key. So I'm pressing delete, but I don't see anything. Maybe that's some kind of ANSI escape sequence. There we go. Okay, that's, I'm gonna have to read up on that difference. That surprises me. Okay, 7F. Erase to the left. Okay. previous character. Let's try that again. Mike Ron making everyone sad as usual. Do you have a pension plan in Canada? There's the Canadian pension plan, CPP. But there's concerns about it. Like, I looked into it back in the day. I actually read through some of their it's like a mandatory thing. Yeah, if you work anywhere, you have to pay into Canadian pension plan. And I looked into it to see if it's like what I should expect from it. And one of the main document is like all their investments are based around 2% inflation, 2.1% inflation. They're these super detailed, serious calculations based on that assumption. But then in the last few years, ever since COVID, everything, just went crazy. And the new assumptions are that inflation is going to be at least 3%, which probably throws off all their old models. And there's questions about different provinces funded different amounts, and in the last few years, there's been an absolutely massive explosion in the number of staff they have. So the whole idea was we're as a mandatory retirement thing, mandatory retirement savings, we pay money to this Canada pension plan, and then they invested in an extremely low risk, boring investments to earn the 2% inflation, or keep up with inflation, but also make a small amount of investment, a small amount of return. But then what has happened is some of the calculations are that it's going to be underfunded a bit. So they're like, okay, instead of investing in simple investments big infrastructure projects or utilities or something like that, we have to invest in higher risk stuff to get higher returns, but that means we have to actively manage it more. So now they have to hire more staff to actively manage the pension fund, because now they're taking more risk, and if they take more risk, they don't want to lose it, because then it's going to be underfunded. So now I think it's kind of in this spiral where they're hiring more people. There's a massive explosion in the staff who are actively managing this thing to supposedly manage it better and make more money. But of course, those people want salaries, and they want performance-based salaries. And I think there's been some reports of the people there getting significant bonuses and stuff for they don't even deliver good performance, but their staff is increasing, and so I'm not sure. And I think there's some scandals and stuff. They were investing in some companies that were basically scams and stuff, and so it's probably I kind of expect that'll be another whole thing that'll blow up, and in 10 years we'll be like, this whole thing was totally mismanaged. How did we miss this? Okay, let's see what happens when I press delete. Let's clear that. All right, delete. Oh, interesting. So that's an ANSI escape sequence. Remove key. It's me again. Did you miss me? A little bit. But I was able to keep myself busy in the meantime. Alright, I guess I'll have to implement this thing next time. So it kind of works with backspace and the offsets in the X direction. Next stream, I guess I will implement pressing enter. There's probably a few more like corner cases with moving around the cursor between lines. And after that, that's basically everything that needs to be done in a text area. And then after that, I'll probably make it like a wrapper class to put all the text areas in. So that way I can tab between them. Oh, I should probably make like an initialization thing, because when I first tab over to it, you don't see the cursor. World domination. Yep. Thank goodness, I thought you were devastated. Nope. I'm resilient. What's the global progress? It's coming along one day at a time. Alas, I have to leave again. Me too. It's time for the end of the stream. Well, that'll be it for today. We will be back again tomorrow for day 255, which I guess is a special day. And then 256, that's also a special day. All right, have a good night, guys.